This is special.
Illustrations by me.
So I receive a message from Eugen and he says, I'm going to send you something. And I said, okay, I'll wait for it. Let's see what happens. He sent me something. It was very special. If you don't know, Eugen, he does a lot of fountain pen reviews and drawings with the fountain pens. And those are the things that I like to watch. I watch his channel all the time. He's got his own channel. We'll link that down below. But what he mentions about the pens is what I want to know. I want to know, how does it react with drawing? And he lets us know. And he said, I'm going to send you something. And he did. It's something very special. Let's take a look at this. So what I want to do here is look at this. It came in this nice case. It actually came with this little bow on it here like that. But the stickiness wore off and it fell off. So he sent me this case, and in it is a pen holder thing here, a little pocket thing here. So that's good, because if you have a round fountain pen and you stick it on there, it won't fall off the table on you. So that's wonderful. A little thing of ink here. I have no idea what it is yet. I have not opened it. So we're going to see if that actually, or what color that is. I still don't know. You can turn it upside down. I still can't see the color. But he says he likes it, so I'm going to use it. And in here is the pen that he sent me that he made himself. He turns these, and he makes them himself. It is a beautiful pen. Let me get a little closer here. That is a beautifully stunning pen. I absolutely love it. I can't believe he sent it to me. It's wonderful. So much texture and detail, and it's a shiny finish. I believe he does these in shiny and matte finish as well. So you open it up here, you unscrew it, and there you go. There's your pen. And then on the inside of the pen is also the converter where you fill it up with ink here. So he sent it with the converter inside. Absolutely wonderful. Thank you so much, Eugen. I was shocked when I saw this and thrilled. And the way that he does this is amazing. It's an absolutely beautiful pen. Now, why do I say this pen is for drawing? Because you put this on the back here, and it creates a little dip here. So you can hold it here. It creates a perfect spot to rest on your finger and put your other fingers on there so you can draw from a distance instead of holding it all the way down here. Now, usually, because of the balancing of it, if I'm going to hold a pen up here, I take the cap off because I don't like all the extra weight there. It feels more balanced in my hand like this when I write. But what I'm going to do is leave the cap on here and hold it back here, and now it's balanced to draw this way. So it's absolutely wonderful. I've never seen a fountain pen that has this design in the back here, where when you put the cap on, it leaves that little dent there for your fingers. It leaves a spot to grab it for your finger. That's wonderful. And it fits snug, but I'm not cramming it on there. It fits snug enough where it's not coming off at all. It's just not going to come off. I have to pull it off. So, absolutely. But look at can you see even the detail on the cap? Can you see, it's a little bit of reflection there, but can you see the detail that's in there? It's absolutely beautiful. I love it. And see, it's round, so it could roll. So you put it onto a pen holder, and then it doesn't roll. Isn't that nice? So you draw with it a little bit, you undo something, you put it down on there. Now, yes, of course, long term you cover it up. But I'm going to put it on here, and it's not going to roll. It's wonderful. Now, I'm not sure. There's no markings on the nib here. I have to find out from him what nib this is. But it has like a long feed, a long nib. It looks beautiful. We're going to try this out and see how it works. Now, I don't know if you can see this either, but this is not just red and black. Some of that coloring is actually, it looks purple to me. So there's a little bit like up in here, there's a little bit of purple. So it's like a red-black with a little bit of purple in there. And I don't know if that's just my eyes when I'm looking at it or not. It could just be red and black, but it looks like there's a little bit of like a really dark purple. And it goes all the way down. Look at the detail in that. all the way down. It's absolutely stunning. I love it. And I'm very grateful for him making this for me. So, in honor of the fact that he sent this to me, I'm going to do my best to do a scribble drawing just like he does in his videos. He's an amazing artist if you've ever seen his work. I absolutely love it. I love watching him create it, and I love watching him do it. But I've done some scribble work before, but not like this. The way that he does it with very, very fine lines, and develops it over a very long period of time until he ends up with something that he recognizes a shape of or something, and he goes in with some detail and does a little bit extra, and the texture he gets on his drawings is wonderful. And I'm going to use the Leather Village book because lately he's been using that paper, and of course that was a recommendation from me. So since he uses it on a recommendation from me, I'm going to use his pen, use his style on the paper that he uses, and see what I can do. Of course, it will not be as good as what he does, but I'm going to do my best. All right, let's get into it. So first, let me say that I did mess up a little bit here. You don't see it because I cut it out, but I tried to fill this thing a couple of times, and it just didn't fill because I didn't have the pen all the way down in the ink properly. I finally did that, and it finally filled properly. And then when I was going to draw with it, you'll see me just I kind of push out the ink a little bit to the feed just to get it started, and then it gets started and it's fine, and never gave me a second of trouble. So you'll just see me do this. It's a quick little thing just to get it in there. And yeah, a lot of people are supposed to put the cap on, as soon as you're done filling it so you don't knock it over and spill it everywhere, just like something that I would do. But I did not put the cap all the way on until I had it filled and set aside, and then I was cleaning it and that kind of stuff. But I was okay, don't worry. Nothing spilled, everything was fine. Now I want you to look at that ink color though. That is some beautiful ink. It's very different. It's not just black ink. It looks a little black when you first write with it, but it also has like a reddish hue, and then it has like a greenish hue. It's very different. It's a very interesting ink. I enjoy it, so I'll use this in this pen and see how it works out for me. But you'll see in the drawing, because it's toned paper, that it actually, you can't tell. It just looks like dark ink. But on the white, you can see there the globs. It looks like there's something else going on there. Okay, so let me just say that at first I wrote with this. I did this drawing. Then I went ahead and I wrote with this thing for a couple of days. I kept it at my desk, wanted to just keep seeing how it was working. Every time I picked it up, there's not a problem. The ink flows very well. And this something that I really enjoy about a pen is how wet the ink flows in it, especially if I'm using it for drawing. I had no issues with this. Every time I wrote, it was smooth. It was like it's like I don't know if it is, but the tip seems like it's almost polished, where it glides on the paper very nicely. It doesn't scratch the paper at all. But during the drawing, I do have to say this, and Eugen said it as well when he uses the pens. This paper is so loose with the fibers that sometimes the fibers get picked up in the nib of the pen because it's a forked tip. It has that space in there where the ink flows. So if little loose fibers you're drawing and you're scratching away at it, that's what happens. The fibers get stuck. So a couple of times, you didn't see it here. I didn't leave it in the video. I cut it out. But I had to stop what I was doing and just wipe the tip for a second. Nothing got stuck in there. It wasn't a big deal. But the fibers of this paper, they do lift up a little bit. So I just pulled, there was a little bit at the tip. You could see it, and just wipe it off and just keep going. Everything worked fine. Now, like I said, I thoroughly enjoy this pen. It's a wonderful pen. It works very well, and the aesthetic of it is a part of why you pick up a pen. I don't know how many people just say, oh, this is just how it writes. Okay, that's fine. I'm glad it writes good, but does it make you want to pick it up? I say this all the time. This book makes me want to create art in it. This pen makes me want to pick it up and use it. It's a beautiful instrument. I absolutely love it. And I think that's a big part of the appeal, is that I enjoy it, that I like to even look at it in my hand. So that's a big part of why you would want to pick something up all the time. The ink was very unique as well. You can't really see it on this paper. Let me look at this for a second. Okay, so as I look at this on the paper, it's because the paper is toned a little bit. It looks a little bit of like a reddish brown, like a deep reddish brown. That's what it looks like. And I can feel a little bit of the texture on the page from where I was drawing and going over line by line. If you were to compare, don't compare my drawing to his, my work to his, because he would have spent like another 3 hours on this. He would have made it look wonderful and put a lot more detail into it than I did. I don't usually do that when I do the little scribble drawings. I put a lot less time into it. So when I did this, and I was happy, I went until I was done with it when I said, you know what, I'm happy where it is. I'm going to leave it right here. And then I added a couple little hieroglyph things to the side or whatever, little alien words on it. And that was about it. I don't know what it is or even if you can tell what it is. And if you use your own imagination and figure out what this is, you can let me know, but I have no idea. Now, I went back on the other page when I was done with the drawing, and I just started making lines with it. Started making some a little bit thicker, some a little bit thinner, in different directions. And in every direction I was using it, it was working. So I would go side to side and forward and backward, and it never stopped one time. It never stopped drawing like that. The one time until I got that little fuzzball at the tip, that stops it a little bit. You got to clean that off and then do it again. But other than that it never stopped working. It still has not stopped working, and I'm absolutely loving it. Now on the white paper, I will say that it also looks like a chestnut, not chestnut, maybe like a chestnut. It's like a warm brown color on the white paper. So if you write next to something that use black ink, you'll be able to tell the difference. If you write next to blue ink, of course you will. But you'll be able to tell the difference between the black and this color. It's a beautiful color ink, and I really like it. So I've never had a brownish ink that I really like. And at first I thought it was red. And maybe it is. I don't know. I do see a lot of red in it. But it's a warm brown. And the darker lines are brown. And I never got it concentrated enough to see that green ever again. Other than on the paper towel, when I cleaned off the pen. Then it was that they had that big green splotch. I've never been able to reproduce that green splotch anywhere. Even the thickest part of this drawing where I went in really dark, it never got green. It stayed more that reddish brown. And I've never found one that I really like, and I really like this one. So this is a double gift for me. I enjoy the ink and I enjoy the pen, and I'm going to keep using them. And you'll definitely see them on the channel again because I do really enjoy them. Now the other thing that I need to point out is that I'm very heavy-handed. But because I was able to hold the pen back off the tip and not put my fingers right by the tip and draw and kind of dig into the page, that's where I always go wrong with my drawings. I dig into the page because I hold it like a regular pencil or a pen would, and I'm heavy-handed. When you hold this pen back towards the back end, it automatically lightens up your pressure. Even if you use the same pressure as you did at the tip, you just pull your fingers back and it lightens up. So I was able to get some very, very light marks. You see them on here. You see how some of them are just like ghosted marks. They're almost not even there. And then I can slowly darken it. And that's what he does with his drawings. He does the same where he just kind of goes in and takes a long time to develop one area with many, many layers of lighter strokes. And it works. It absolutely works with this. And I will tell you, the scribble thing is harder than it looks. People say all the time, oh, the scribble. I mean, if you're just scribbling, how hard can that be? Because you're trying to make the scribble look like it's interesting, and that's a difficult thing. So it's not you have to practice that. That's something you have to say, oh, I see this spot and now I want to develop it and I want to do this and do this, or I have an idea, this did this and now I have an idea on how to change that and make it look interesting. And so that's what you do. You focus on it that way. This was an interesting experience for me. I've never tried to do this kind of scribble drawing ever before. I've done other scribble drawing. You've seen in the Twisted Sense Tales, I did the scribble drawing, but that's the only thing I've ever really done. I've never really done it like this. This is with fine lines. I usually do it with thick black lines, or not thick, but you know what I mean, regular thicker black lines. Even when I did, oh, maybe I'll switch, you know what, I'm going to put on the screen here just for a second just so you can see a couple of birds that I did in a gray book. And that was kind of scribble drawing. But it was different. It's still different than this. This is much different than that because I didn't do so much on so many layers. I just kind of went in and I used black ink, so it was black and it was heavy kind of as I did it. It was like with a fine liner, so there's no variation of the line so much. This, you can get a lot of variation. I was able to get very, very thin lines, very, very thick lines. It was nice. It was one, and this is not a flexible nib. This, or what I would call a flexible nib. It's every fountain pen has a little bit of flex to it. That's how the ink gets out of it. But this is not like one of those really flexible pens. That's not what this is. It's wonderful. I love it. I cannot say enough good things about it. I'm very blown away by the fact that I received this as a gift. Now, if this is something you think you want, he sells these. I'm not getting a commission for it either. I don't even want a commission. I'm saying he sells these. You go on to his channel. It will be linked below, and you ask him and say, well, I'd like something similar. He always posts videos about the ones he's done, or about, you can go look in very recent videos, matter of fact, of a bunch that he did and he was going through. So go ask him, see what he has available, if that's something that you're into. If you like drawing with fountain pens, I don't think that I could get a better fountain pen, and I'm not trying to say that because this one was sent to me as a gift. I'm being serious. That's my honest opinion of this pen. I absolutely love it. I love it that much. So I think anybody who likes fountain pens would love one of these. Just like these people popping up on the screen here. I bet you'd like some of these people, but you can't have them. They're all mine, and I'm not sharing them with anybody. You go get your own. Thumb up the video if you enjoyed drawing with fountain pens, and if you would like to try, even if you're not using a fountain pen, try and draw one of these scribble drawings. They're actually very therapeutic because you're not really paying attention to what you're doing. You're just scribbling until you see something you want to develop. Just like a doodle. It's the same idea, only using a lot of lines on a page. That's all the difference is. So give it a shot. I think it's a great idea. All right. What? I didn't mess anything up on this one. There's nothing to see here. We're done. I'm done with this. We're done here. You can go on about your business. Maybe in the next one you'll be able to laugh at me, but not this time. You're probably still laughing at me. If you would like to join our community, go to illustrationsbypete.com. You can come in, you can put your own artwork on the site and promote it. You can find some inspiration in the free reference photos. You can just use them however you want in your artwork. You do not need to credit me. Or you can come into the forums and talk to some people and maybe give some advice and maybe find a little bit of information that helps you. So come check us out. All right, that's about it for me. I'm going to go. I'll see you in the next one.